Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I want to talk about something that was abandoned pretty quickly in Jurassic Park's past. And that idea would have been the secret third island that was supposed to appear in a video game titled Jurassic Park Survival. Now, if you've been watching some of my videos over the course of this year, you'll no doubt have heard me talk about Site C a couple of times. This would have been the proposed setting of the third Jurassic Park movie very early in development. To make a long story short, JP3 eventually got set on Isla Sorna instead, and nearly every trace of Site C was thrown out when it came time to actually promoting the film. That is, apart from a few notable pieces of merchandise that proudly displayed this iconography. Well, despite Jurassic Park 3 choosing to move its plot to Site B for that movie, there were actually more plans outside of the film for a third island that I actually didn't really know much about until quite recently. And that's because these plans were also quickly shut down during this project's development. The title that I'm talking about is the canceled PlayStation 2 and Xbox game called JP Survival. Its plot would have focused on a security technician by the name of David Vaughn. In the game, dinosaurs would both be roaming freely in the jungle as well as being housed in a few security cages. The United States government, concerned about dinosaur overpopulation, would send a small team of personnel to this location in order to aid some scientists who are currently studying the animals. This is the crew that David was a part of. Unbeknownst to our protagonist though, David's boss would actually have made a shady deal with a secret, quote, shadow organization that was interested in dinosaur DNA. Their plans were apparently to steal the DNA before destroying the island and cornering the market on genetic research. Now, what's really interesting about this game's plot is that it was originally supposed to take place on a brand new third island. What's even more interesting is the fact that when the game was first announced, it was actually being called simply Jurassic Park 3. And was said to be based on the movie before they made the distinction that it would really be its own unique story. Later on down the line, the announcement of it being set on a secret third island was also retconned, with the location simply being Isla Sorna instead, which is curiously similar to what happened to the actual Jurassic Park 3. Unfortunately, we never got to see this game at all since it was eventually canceled in the early 2000s. But what I personally find more interesting than its cancellation is actually its pretty wild development cycle. This is where you can really see the plot metamorphosize and change due to forces beyond the game developers' control, namely how Jurassic Park 3, the movie, was actually coming along. During an interview with Jurassic Outpost back in 2016, Rob Stahl, the lead art director on the game, actually talked about these changes in full. What was problematic was that we didn't have a lot of artwork to give me for what the design was because they were still in the process of designing the movie Jurassic Park 3. So that was extremely challenging as far as getting information from them, and as far as trying to tie it together. As far as the direction of the game in regards to where you went and what you did were actually very loosely based on some of the scenarios they knew they were going to do for the movie. So that was one of the more challenging projects. You know, I've worked on a lot of franchises and this one was really tough. In a lot of ways, it was the worst because I was taking design cues from the other two films as far as some of the props, locations, and stuff, but this was supposed to be an official game that ties or is in conjunction with Jurassic Park 3, so I really had to have something from that film to base my stuff on. But we just kind of had to wing it to a certain point. Now, I really do think that it's pretty unfortunate that Jurassic Park Survival had to suffer for what was going on during the development of the third movie, but I also find all of this information on the game being closely connected with JP3, at least originally, before things eventually changed, to be really crazy to think about. Imagine working with Universal Studios on a video game tie-in for Jurassic Park 3. They tell you all of this cool stuff that they wanted to implement into the movie and give you a basis for what kinds of scenarios you should put in the game. Then eventually, the filmmakers throw out the script, rearrange everything while they're filming, and you're forced to kind of ebb and flow with whatever it is that they're making up on the fly somewhere over in Hawaii. It had to be a pretty hectic experience. Now, I've known about Jurassic Park Survival for a long time, and I've even done a video on that game before in the past, but I'm kind of shocked to learn that it was originally supposed to take place on this mysterious third island that I keep hearing about. At the end of the day, the only time we really got Site C was in Jurassic World Evolution, and that was on Isla Morta. But long before all of that new stuff came out, they were legitimately going to give Jurassic Park a whole other island apart from Nublar or Sorna for that third JP movie. What this island would have been is really puzzling to me, considering it both had wild dinosaurs in the jungle as well as dinosaurs in cages. Maybe this was something that goes as far back as the story treatment where Alan Grant would have been living on the island in order to research dinosaurs. It checks out with the description of scientists being present to work on the animals at least. Part of me is just so dumbfounded to even understand why they'd want to make a whole other island in the first place, but yeah. In the early 2000s, yet another secret island was really going to be a thing, which is just bonkers to me. Makes me feel like one day I'm just gonna wake up and learn about Site L or something. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Guys, it seriously means the world to me that you all continue to support what I do, and I never want you to ever forget that. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like, and hope you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you on the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.